What up, what up, what up? Welcome to episode 52 of Player Life. We already have Javier in the house. What is good, my brother? Good to see you in there before I've even started the show. Good stuff. Um, today is, I don't know, today's Wednesday, 27th of January, almost at the end of January. Time waits for no man, my friends. Time does not wait. You cannot stop it. It marches on relentlessly, no matter what happens, you know. So make the most of every day that you have on planet Earth, because our time is limited. It is short, and as you get older, it goes faster. So that's the crazy thing, you know. When you're younger, remember when you're, back in elementary school, remember what a summer vacation felt like, a summer holiday, like 2 months? It felt like a year, you know. But when you get by the time you reach 30, summer, 2 months is like 2 weeks. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Time is just, it's a weird it's a weird concept. But yeah, so today, I wanted to do a show about why Western women deny biology. What gave me the idea was I was I was checking in on Fresh and Fit podcast with so it was an interesting one with Rollo Tomasi, Hotep Jesus, and some other chick. I don't know who the chick was, but there was a piece. I didn't I caught it live, but there was some segment where Rollo kind of got into it with the female. Not an argument, but he let her know what's up. And they were talking about the wall, and talking about a lot. I didn't see the whole thing. I just caught the end of it, but it made me realize how how Western women in particular tend to deny biology, and they're encouraged to behave like men, and that's it's not good for women. Actually, it's because they're basically being lied to. They're being sold a false bill of goods, as the saying goes. They're being filled with lies. They're being filled with false hope. They're told they can behave like men, sow their wild oats in their youth, like sleep with as many men as possible. Don't worry about it. You're equal. There's no biological difference, as we're told, between men and women. It's all it's all a construct. Let's go with that. Let's roll with it. We're all the same. Men, women, there's no difference. It's all a construct. But so they do what men do, and they sleep around, and they sleep with they try and sleep with all the bad boys, in their party years, and when they're beautiful, like when they're at their peak, when they're really they have a lot of power. And men, men pay up front. Men, when they're in their teenage years and they're in their 20s, they're paying. Like, it's a struggle. Like, it's always a struggle to get with women. It's because women are always reaching for the top, but women, it's the opposite. They pay later in life. And that's not, it's not to disparage women. It's not, it's honestly, to be quite honest, it's a better deal to be a man. Like, it really is. Like, in a lot of ways, like, there's pluses and minuses, but every single time, if I could choose, I'm obviously going to choose to be a man every single time. Given the choice, there's not even a split second would I go. If given the choice, I wouldn't think about it for one split second. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I'd rather be a woman. No way. It's just a better deal. We got Know Your Worth in the house. Good day, gents. Many blessings to your crypto bags. Good stuff. Crypto's a good. I'm glad I got into it. It's a definitely a good thing to be invested in. Got Modern Life Dating in the house. Says, hey, what's up? Good. We got Nibal Sawaya in the house. Says, hello, guys. Yeah, so smash the like button. Get those likes up. As Javier says. So yeah, obviously, given the choice, everyone in this chat room is gonna choose to. You're not even gonna think about it. You're gonna choose to be a man every single time. Women all get away with things. When they're they get an easier time of things in some aspects, but like I said, men pay up front. It's a struggle, especially when you're a teenager. No chicks really wants to have anything to do with you because you're still growing up. You're immature, like unless you're the exception to the rule and you're one of these Chad guys that has won the genetic lottery and you're just captain of the football team. If you're in America and you're one of these jocks, you might have a good time when you're young, but these guys will probably often suffer later in life because they never had to learn game. Women just came easy to them, so later in life they end up knocking up these random chicks, and they just kind of ruin their lives. They never had to learn game. But guys who are maybe average, and the guys that turn into the most savage players are the guys that are average or even below average. They can turn into some real killer players because they have to learn game. They have to learn it, and then you're just unstoppable. Know Your Worth says, God, I'm glad I was born a guy. Obviously, hands down, like every single time. Rishi Padarut says, "Sup, Mac? What's up, brother?" Yeah. So, like I said, I was watching the show. Fresh and Fit podcast, but actually, it was actually Rolo and Hotep and some chick. It wasn't actually Myron and the other dude, Fresh, that was that was on it. But I'll just play the clip that made me want to talk about this. I'll share the screen. Where is it at? All right, so let's have a listen.
Peak of sexual marketability at that time. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying be aware that that's when you're hitting your stride, right? That's when you're hitting your peak times, and that you have to use that to leverage that for a much longer period of time. So if 23 is your peak, you still have, like, hopefully you live a long life, like you got 80 or 90 years left on you. The decisions you make in your youth affect where you're going to be at 31, 41, 51 years old. And particularly more so, I think, for women than even for guys. Because guys, we have a slow burn. Like you were just saying, I'm 40 some odd years old. I'm just starting to get into this. When you were 19, you had your record label. Yeah. And so we have this kind of much slower burn where we go up and we kind of come down. Mm-hmm. For women, it's boom, boom. For most women, it's boom, boom.
Well, I know one woman who is 48. She was pregnant with twins. And she didn't know she was pregnant until she started gaining weight. Wow. Her clothes didn't fit her. She was like, oh,
you realize how rare that is, how ultra rare. Did she have healthy children? Did they have Down syndrome? Was there anything wrong genetically?
No, she has 4 kids plus those twins.
It's exceptionally rare. In fact, that's dangerously rare.
Really?
Yes. That's another thing. That's another disservice I think we do to women right now. Is women think they have a biological clock and it starts ticking right around 30, 31, 29 years old.
No, I think that it starts ticking for me because I'm a woman. When you're next to babies, when you get that baby fever.
That's maternal instinct.
Yeah. Are you sure? Or that's the biological clock ticking? Because I didn't get that till I was like 28. 28, When I got close to baby,
yeah, because it's not so much the biological clock is ticking; it's the psychological acknowledgement that the party's going to be over pretty.
All right. Okay. So yeah, there's, that's the it's always typically people, when they're losing an argument or when they don't really know what they're talking about, they'll choose the anomaly or the exception to the rule to try and counter your argument. And that's what, basically these chicks, you could see she's trying, it's like a coping mechanism. So, she's saying that, basically, women, it can vary for women, whether, it depends. Some women, come into their peak at different times. And we all know that's not true. Women are at their peak, pretty much every woman reaches their, have their best years between 18 and 25. 21 probably is a woman's peak, physically speaking, and in terms of fertility too. But she starts talking about how her, she didn't get she felt she wasn't fertile until she was 28. She was basically talking nonsense. She's talking nonsense, like really a coping mechanism, is what it is, because it's obvious, like women when they get to their late 30s, the reason they get the baby rabies is because it's like their eggs are drying up. Like, it's not like they're more fertile, it's like they're getting less fertile, and they're like, it's like an emergency situation. It's like their body is telling them, you need to take action, because if you miss this boat, this ship is going to sail. It's gone into the depths of eternity. You're going to miss the boat. And it's just, you could clearly see she was like kind of upset when, kind of dealing with Rollo's, like, his facts. It kind of inspired me to make a meme. I made a meme about it. Let me show you that. Let me get it up. Let me just find that. All right.
For women, it's boom, boom. For most women, it's boom, boom.
Well, I know one woman who is 48. She was pregnant with twins. And she didn't know she was pregnant until she started gaining weight. Wow. Her clothes didn't fit her. She was like...
You realize how rare that is? How old? Did she have healthy children? Did they have Down syndrome? Was there anything wrong genetically?
No, she has 4 kids plus those twins.
It's exceptionally rare. In fact, that's dangerously rare.
Really?
Yes. That's another disservice I think we do.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Right around.
I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and a vision that was planted in my brain.
Yeah. Oh, but it's just it's such a cope. When women are faced with facts, they don't really respond with rationale. They'll kind of get emotional. They'll get upset. But it is what it is. And in a way, you gotta feel sorry for these chicks. I don't really, but it's like they're being manipulated by the mainstream media. I know they keep yapping on about the mainstream media, but they really are. Like, they're brainwashed to be told that they're equal to men. They're the same as men, there's no biological difference yet. It's just they contradict themselves at every single turn. But it's like, oh, we can live like men. We can do this, that, and the other. And there's so many there's so many articles out there that are trying to like turn the tables and make it out that men are actually the ones that are having fertility issues. I just did a quick Google search before jumping on the stream to see what would come up, and there was so many articles that just popped up, kind of putting the blame on women, on men, for infertility issues, rather than we all know that it's because men and women are both working now, and women are encouraged to work, and they're pretty much encouraged not to have. Oh, they're also encouraged by the mainstream media not to have babies. It's particularly Western women, but immigrants that come to the West are more so encouraged to have babies rather than natives of Western countries, and that's just a fact. It's just kind of, it's a weird, it's like pretty much like psychological warfare. But China's laughing. I mean, China had the one baby policy for decades, and now because they have such a massive 1.4 billion, they have a population of 1.4 billion. But recently they opened it up, and now you're allowed to have more than one child in China. And they're just laughing at the West. They're pissing themselves. Like, they're like, these idiots, these stupid idiots, these little, they just fall for everything, and it's true. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, let me see the chat. Winston says, "LOL, very much Jonathan-esque." Yes, it's very, it's a very Jonathan-esque meme. But yeah. No, your word says, women blame shifting. You say, perish the thought. Javier says, guys, you have to use the contradictory beliefs of Western women to make money, or ejaculate, then evacuate, then move to the East. The East is where it's at, and it's very true. Like, it's a Western phenomenon. Like, in Japan, I've only lived. Japan's the only foreign country I've lived in, so I'm not, but so I know Japan very well. But Japanese women are very based when it comes to biology. When it comes to marriage and babies and things like that, Japanese women are very like honest with themselves. Like, they're very like, they won't play that that game like, oh, they'll understand that when they're 30, like, oh shit, like I'm fucked. They're kind of like in but in they'll acknowledge that it's kind of too late almost. They'll be in a sense of like urgency, and they'll admit it. Western women will double down. They'll double down on it, even though deep down they know the truth. Their body is telling them what's up. But in Japan, it's the complete opposite, and it's MLD and any foreign guy pretty much know that when it comes to we'll often have the girls that get left behind that'll come like lower themselves down to have to try and settle for a gaijin. But unfortunately for them, we have some seriously pimp level game. I mean, when it comes to guys like John and myself, and we're not the normal gaijins in Japan. We're not the normal foreigners in Japan, for sure. So it's kind of unfortunate for them, because they might think they can manipulate and I'll settle for this foreign guy, but the wrong guys to mess with. Yeah, we're not gonna be one of those guys that will just settle for these post-wall chicks. And John and myself obviously have really pimp level games, so we understand that these when chicks are like they're 30 and they're on these dating apps, and we know what's up. We know I know when they were 21, they wouldn't be on dating apps. They wouldn't be on these, because in Japan, all the girls looking for foreign guys use Bumble. Girls who use Bumble in Japan exclusively want to meet foreign guys. Exclusively. See, all the girls on there will generally be older. Like, most of them are over 25. A lot of them over 30. So panic mode, downgrade themselves to foreigners, and sometimes I'll hit it, but sometimes I'll tap one, but they soon understand that they can't. I'm not gonna be the salaryman, foreign replacement husband, or but it's Japanese are based, like I said, just really based. It's like very different. It's a like completely different world to Western women. The delusion is not here. They don't delude themselves. They understand biology. They're very based with like nature. They understand the females and men. Men and women are different. There's no argument here about that. There's no controversy. There's no falling out. Like John often talks about on his show, Japanese women are generally, kind of happy. They don't go around with, you often see very unhappy salary men and things like that, and like, miserable lives. But the young females here, young women, they all, they're walking around, they're happy with their lives. They don't hate men. They don't have that bitter, because in Western countries, we're in competition with, men and women are basically in competition with each other. That's what it is. You're in competition for getting jobs. Everything is a competition. It doesn't create a good atmosphere. It doesn't create for a good harmonious society. But let me share some of these links. And we'll see what I'll show. So just an example of, I just like a quick Google search, and they're trying to shift the blame onto men for the infertility crisis. The male infertility crisis. My failure at fatherhood ate away at me, at my very being. It's a real and painful issue for thousands of Western men. So why, wonders Andrew Anthony, is so little being done or said about it? This is hilarious. This is so funny. This is so funny because it's so like they're completely, they're shifting the blame completely. It's like men are not the ones. This is not a male issue. This is a female issue. This is women putting off having children until they're in their 30s and their eggs are dried up. This is not. There's no issue with men being infertile. I'm not even going to read this, but it's just, look at this. Clearly, some beta male, some like male feminist, some creep, some like just some pussy, and he's just trying to simp. Well, not trying, just massively simping. Let me share another one. Share screen again. Here's another one. Men have no idea what women go through to have children. Women have to plan, conceive, carry, and labor to make babies, who chances are won't even have our last names. Yes, so it's just like constantly like shifting the blame onto, how's it? Let's see what it goes like. Strong, independent woman. Like at the end of the day, Western women still like, no matter what, for all their bravado and all this, that, and the other, they still want to actually, they still want to have babies, but they'll repress it. They'll double down, and then it'll come like spewing out, and they'll put the blame on men for being infertile, and it's just I don't know. It's infuriating. It's annoying, but at the end of the day, I don't know. You shouldn't be looking for revenge, but we're gonna see them. They're gonna pay a huge price. There's gonna be like millions of like childless women in Western countries. Like my generation. I'm 32 years old. All the women, in all the women my age, in in Western countries, they're all the vast majority of them are single, childless. In my personal opinion, some people might disagree. I actually think it's better to, both are undesirable, but it's better to actually be a single mother than like to go without never having a child. For women, obviously both are not desirable, but anyway, what does it say? I'm a 37-year-old woman, and no matter how hard I listen, I cannot hear the ticking of my biological clock. Maybe that's because I hear the din of everyone else's concerns about my reproductive future instead. Are you thinking about kids? Having a baby will destroy your writing time. Whatever you do, don't give up a job with maternity leave. So it's all this like kind of hypocrisy, and like who, they really don't know who to blame, and it's like, oh, my partner doesn't get these comments. Only one person has ever asked him if we're having kids, his own father. I don't hear the clock ticking, but I'm trying to have a baby anyway, and it's not so hard to imagine another smaller person in our home. So for all this female empowerment and boss bitches and all this stuff, there's still like even the hardcore feminists, like they'll deep down they know, like they'll kind of project, they'll project their rage about not not being able to be a housewife, or have children, or they'll project it by doubling down and blaming men, and going on about the patriarchy, and going on about all this, that, and the other. That's all projection. That all means that they actually really want these things. They desperately want to be a housewife. They want they want men to take charge and look after them, and they're not going to get it. It's like you shouldn't be vindictive and looking for revenge on women, but you're gonna see, they're gonna pay the price. There's just there's actually so many of them. Here's another one. How's this one? Men forget younger women and face up to the fact that sperm goes off too. Here's this denial of biology too. Yeah, so this is like sure, men, I'm not a biologist, I don't know, but I know that like it's obviously a completely different kettle of fish for men and women. I mean, yeah, men's like sperm count may go down, but the vast majority of men, like if you're healthy and you don't have some medical condition, you can have, you're able to have children into like old age pretty much, and that's just not the case with women. So like the hypocrisy is just, it stinks, it reeks, like it's gone off, it's putrid. Like so they're saying, in one article they'll say men forget younger women and face up to the fact that sperm goes off too. So but you'll see plenty of other articles that saying you'll you'll see other articles like saying women in their 30s can easily have children too, and like, you know, it's, you know, so if you flip the script and said women, I don't know, if you flip this sentence around, there'd be outrage, you know, there'd be pure outrage, there'd just be hysterical, like, you know, screaming. Recent research shows that male fertility declines after the age of 40. It declined. Sure, it might decline, but you know, 40. You know, I don't. Who knows? They're probably just pulling shite out of their ass. Perhaps we all need to be a bit more honest about the choices we make. Christina Patterson is a writer. Yeah, who cares? Who gives a shit? But you know, Ronnie and Sally Wood, who had twin girls in 2016. The older father is, the richer he's likely to be. Yeah, I mean, that's normal. We all know that. You know, women like money. Women like money more than, especially Japanese women. Japanese women, like, you know, I'd say that's almost one of the most important things for them. No, but they just want a nice guy. You know, Western women, they just want to be, you know, they want to be a boss. You know, they want to be equal. Like, yeah, if they're all equal, then they're not attracted to the people that are, you know, men that are equal to them. That's why these Western women are so, like, they're going around with stink on their faces all the time. They're so unhappy with their lives because, you know, they're working these jobs that they don't want to do, but they're told to do it because they, you know, it's empowering, and yeah, but they don't want to be there. Sure, some do, but you know, in general, what does it say? You know what it's like. You walk into a bar, you gaze around the room, you try to hide the embarrassment that's written on your face, and then you spot a man in the corner. He is hunched, he is lined, he is gray. He looks up, his eyes light up, your heart sinks. If you're a woman over 40 who has tried internet dating, you have probably been here at least once. The photo is fine, or at least the photo is okay. He is not George Clooney, but you are not Scarlett Johansson, and you are not 25. Look, he has or seems to have his own hair. He has or seems to have his own teeth. What you didn't realize when you looked at his profile and decided to give him a chance was the photo had been taken 20 years before. This is just such, like, outrageous entitlement. Like, the entitlement of these chicks is mental. Like, you know, a 40-year-old woman, like, you know, just feeling entitled to, you know, some 29-year-old Chad. It's just like, no, like, men are attracted to young, hot women. And you know, once, and this goes back to what I often say, this is that women desperately don't, you know, understand the difference between bangability and dateability. Like, a 40-year-old woman, if she's milfish, she can have sex like that, boom, like, no problem. But you know, probably with young hot guys, but you know, they're not going to date her. They're not going to, like, it's, or she's just going to be a plate at best. She's going to get pumped and dumped. It just is what it is. I was first told that I was past my peak by a dating agency when a dating agency, the desperation going to dating agencies, and you know what I mean? When I was 36, men my age, they said, wanted younger women who wouldn't force them into commitment or panic about their eggs. You know, that's like, what's wrong with that? I mean, you know, women, you know, men don't want to be like, you know, want to date a woman that's like in a panic, like has like some emergency. She wants to like settle down immediately and have a family. That's really, 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 really unattractive. I should, in other words, be grateful for any oddball who would take me on. A decent man, one would say, some friends and a job, would be able to take his pick of the 20-somethings with fresh faces and wombs that weren't ticking bombs. I mean, if you're 40, I mean, the delusion is so heavy. Like, if you're 40, that ship has sailed. Get out, you know, yeah, and then you'll get these chicks with the anomalies, like in the video I showed you with Rolo and that on Fresh and Fit podcast. 48 years old. That's an unbelievably rare case. And that's what this is that's a very lefty tactic. It's a very, always giving the anomaly, the exception to the rule. It's a very annoying thing. But sure, it wasn't fair, but biology isn't fair. Biology is not fair. It is what it is. God told Eve that she was basically a breeding machine who would suffer agony in childbirth, and Adam that he could in effect sign up to Tinder and have decades of stress-free fun. Exactly. It is what it is, and so all around us we see the results. Elderly film stars, rock stars, chief executives, and politicians brandishing their babies and their much, much younger wives. Exactly. And it's always going to be that way. It's never going to change. That's why I'm glad I'm a man. Young women are, men pay up front. Like a lot of men have some serious struggles in their early lives, and they build themselves up, and women pay later in life. But it's because they've been lied to. They've been lied to. It shouldn't be this way. They should society has just become unbalanced. It has become it's just the way it is. And if you've game, like I always say, it's like there's never been a better time if you like having sex, and with a lot of women, but because there's no price to be paid. Like it's like women are told that it's free sex. Back in the day, it wouldn't have been as easy. It wouldn't, because women knew that their sex was very valuable. They understood that their beauty, their fertility was something that was very, very valuable. That was what was going to get them a solid guy to marry them and give them a family and work for put food on the table, put a roof over their head. But that's not the way it is now. Women are very unhappy with it, but they'll never say that. They'll never acknowledge it. Ronnie Wood at 68, Rupert Murdoch at 72, Mick Jagger at 73. Look at me, I've still got it, and it's huge. What they are talking about, of course, is their wallet. The older father is, the richer he's likely to be. Rich men have purchasing power, and if the price of youth and beauty is a late in life kid, well, they can afford it. They do it because they can. Yeah, and she I haven't read this before, but I don't know, she'd probably go on to say that these are anomalies. No, they are not anomalies. Like, I mean, like I said, if you don't have any medical condition, you can have children later in life. It's not the case where a 72-year-old woman can that just can never happen. Like, that's not gonna ever happen. But there's pretty million. It's not that hard for a 72-year-old man to have a child. Obviously, you probably don't want to be doing that, but anyway. Or perhaps we should say they did it because they could. I've got news for you, gentlemen. Your days of infinite browsing in the giant Amazon warehouse of gorgeous women may be numbered. There we all were, thinking that you just had to pick the moment and the girl to ditch the canopies for the sit-down meal. If you picked well, your mighty sperm would hit the spot and do the job. Hey presto, happy families. But here's the bad news. Sperm goes off. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into reading that because, but it's just, there's just probably nonsense. Just shifting the blame, onto men for society encouraging women like to put off having children later and later in life. Let me check the old comment section. I see. Winston says, look like it's a huge mafia to make Sims support derelict garden tools. Yeah. Fertility, Winston said, fertility declines, raw dog time. Yeah, good time. Some guys get the snip. I would never do that. I just wouldn't do it. I would feel like less of a man if I got my tube snipped. I don't know why why guys it's like getting your balls chopped off. A vasectomy. No, you're worse. Clinging on to whatever they can. Yeah, clinging, like just clinging on for dear life. Spark 55. What about fit 40-year-old men? We know the average person in America is a fat fucking loser. Yeah, I mean, guys, like the thing about guys, it's if you take care of yourself, if you go to the gym, you take care of your diet, you're not smoking 20 cigarettes a day, and you're working out, it's a slow burn, as they say. It's a slow burn. You don't, as Rolo says, it's boom, boom for women. Boom, boom. And it's a flash in the pan. And it really is in terms of, desirability, dateability. It's a short run. But for men, it boils women up. It boils their blood. But men, they hate the fact that older men can be very attractive. Like older men, this whole daddy fetish thing. Young women can be very attracted, like have genuine attraction for older men, right up until their 50s. Like how old is Brad Pitt right now? He could have any amount of like hot 21-year-olds all around the world. They'd be lining up outside his hotel room if he put himself out there. Imagine him going on Tinder. I mean, just be ridiculous. Like he'd have any woman he wanted. And I don't know, how old is he? Javier says perpetual denial. Perpetual denial, just like never stops. It's just it's so woke. It's so brave. It's stunning and brave. Winston says, laugh my ass off. This woman is telling the story in reverse. Indeed. Javier says, some of these 40-plus women will become sugar mamas. I may or may not have one. Yeah, I mean, give them nothing and take from them everything. Give them nothing and take from them everything. I got that one from MLD. It's true though. I mean, it's that's what I talk. When I see these chicks on, sometimes you see these gorgeous, like, 31, 32-year-olds, even older, like 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds, even really hot. They were stunningly hot when they were 21 on Bumble here in Tokyo. These Japanese girls, and it's very obvious that I've talked about it before, that they're lowering themselves down to the foreigner category because they're desperately lonely. They desperately just want to have a relationship. But it's like, we have all, I have all the power now, because it's like, I understand because I have game, obviously, and they don't know that, but they'll soon find out. And but I know that they wouldn't have. So it's like, it's like I said, I don't want to be vindictive and be out for getting revenge, but give them nothing and take from them everything. Because it is what it is. However, so don't tell these women anything and let your pimp game behavior talk. Once that happens and continues, they will talk themselves into being your sugar mama. Yeah, it's always good to have someone buying you gifts and giving you stuff. Just take them down. Javier says, your day of surfing through women may be numbered, as to infer that I may not have been in the past. They're reaching hard to change biology. Yeah, they're trying to basically bend nature. They're trying to change, the laws of nature, and it's there's all these, there's all this, there's fertility treatment, and they can go to clinics and all that, but it's you know it's not gonna change the struggle. I mean, of we all have a limited lifespan anyways. So even if a woman does at 30, 35, have she goes through all the fertility treatment, she gets it all done, and having a child like takes a serious toll on the body. So even if she's successful in having a healthy child, an anomaly at an older age, it's like it really takes. It's like it drains your body. Like, so sometimes you see, especially when you see like these mid-30 women having children, oftentimes like after they've given birth, they look like 10 years older. When women have children in their 20s, they Okay, I don't know what happened there. It went connection lost there for a second. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me again. I don't know. Bad connection. Very red. Very red now. Very red pill. The red pill show. Okay, we're back. But let me see. Let me share some other. Yeah, like I said, there's just so many of these articles, and these are all the ones that came up just from a quick Google search. I'm a feminist, so why does infertility make me feel like a failure? The rational side knows I don't need a child to give my life purpose, yet I am possessed by the desire to be a mother. So the truth comes out. The truth does come out. It's kind of it's interesting how they'll just contradict themselves in their own propaganda. What does it say? So, first paragraph. As a 21st century feminist, of course, I don't believe a woman's worth is determined by her ability to reproduce. Having a child isn't the defining aspect of female identity. Womanhood means so much more than motherhood. Yet does it though? Does it? No, I don't know if it does. Yet I feel like a failure as a woman because I can't have children. My own sense of self-worth is inextricably intertwined with my inability to get or stay pregnant. It's like if a woman has some, some inability to reproduce, that's an unfortunate situation. That's not like, I'm not here to disparage women like that, but the thing about Western society these days is it's like self-inflicted. It's not an infertility issue. It's a choice. It's the delusion that they're told that they're able to put off having, it's a sense of kind of entitlement. They're told that they'll be able to have a child, that they'll be able to have sex with all the Chad guys, in their best years, all throughout their 20s, and there'll be some simp, there'll be some dork, some nice guy. Not even, no, there'll be some, like, they'll even expect the Chad. Actually, it's not even, they don't want the nice guy. They don't want the beta male when they reach their 30s, because they've had the Chad dick. They want the Chad that will provide for them, and they're seriously deluded. Like, and then then that's when they double down and start getting involved in women's march protests and patriarchy, going against the patriarchy, and getting involved in all sorts of progressive things. But the very definition of female is of or denoting to the sex that can bear offspring, and I can't do that. What's the point of having ovaries, a womb, and breasts if I can't use them as nature intended? Getting my period is a monthly reminder of my reproductive potential and failure. My uterus is defective, ergo I am defective. Yeah, I mean, so obviously, it's like when women have some genetic, problem or disease, where they become infertile. That's obviously not their fault. But like I said, it's in Western society, it's largely it's entirely almost self-inflicted. It's like, it's a tragedy when a woman can't, so even, she's the irony of this is, this article, I'm not even going to read all of it, but obviously they're trying to get sympathy for this woman. And I'd have sympathy for a woman that can't have children, not due to any choice of her own. It's due to her body not allowing her. But so at the same time, they're looking for sympathy, but then they're encouraging women. They're saying they're making it out to be a kind of a tragedy here when a woman can't have one, but it's to be celebrated if a woman chooses not to, even though in most cases women will actually really desire it. They'll get the baby rabies when they reach, when they hit the wall, like in the clip I showed in the clip of Rollo Tomasi. Yeah, but let me see if there's any more. Here's another one. There's so many. I was so surprised to see there was so many articles came up. I just typed in infertility in men, and all these articles came up. The infertility crisis is beyond doubt. Now scientists must find the cause. Scientists. It's just like, so they'll go on about science deniers and far right science deniers, but if you say, like, women should probably try and have, if they want to have children, they should probably have them in their 20s, they'll call you like, they'll say you're crazy, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you're sexist, and you're misogynist, and but they're actually the real science deniers. News last week that sperm counts in Western men have confirmed what experts already knew. The real problem is no one knows why. No one knows why. It's probably because of all the soy that they're dishing out. The topic has become the mainstay of dystopian science fiction. Our world is afflicted by widespread infertility, and childless civilizations are left hovering on the brink of collapse. Children, Children of Men and The Handmaid's Tale provide perfect examples of these unsettling narratives. What a load of shit! It's clearly, it's just it's all coping mechanisms. It's all desperate coping mechanisms. Trying to deal with the fact that women are. The answer is very obvious and clear. Women are just like delaying pregnancy. That's why the only reason populations are in decline in Western countries is because women are choosing to delay having children, and then ultimately not missing the boat because they delayed too long. They felt, like I said, they had the party years. They said, yeah, I'll do. They wanted their cake. They had their cake and they want to eat it. So they want to get everything. They want to bang all the chads, and then they want to get married to a chad at the end of it. And then ultimately they'll miss the boat because no successful guy. Well, I'm sure there are some out there. There's probably a lot of simps out there, but there are a lot of simps out there for sure. But for a guy that has his stuff together, top tier guy, he's not going to get married. He's not going to settle for a 32-year-old chick with all this baggage that has a notch count of like 200. It's not going to happen. But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of just bullshit articles out there. Yeah, but I don't know. It's it is what it is. It's not gonna, enjoy the decline. Enjoy the decline, learn game. Money muscles game. It is, just enjoy it. But I'm gonna leave it there. I will catch you guys tomorrow night for another episode of Player Life. As usual, like, comment, subscribe, share this. Make sure you share this round whenever I do the show. Try and get more viewers. So wherever you're at, have a good day. Peace out.